Hello and welcome along to another episode of Off the Leash. We're up to episode 32, brought to you by the Racing Post in association with Premier Greyhound Racing. Now, it was a bit wet and wild, probably too wet and wild last week. Tony Bullen joins us and a bit of deja vu here because we're going to talk the St Leger because it's not been run yet, Tony.
No, I mean, the conditions, they had bad conditions the previous weekend and did well complete. So, I mean, it was the best decision. I mean, there was a no race. The hare stopped, and you don't want to see that. At least none of the dogs have completed a circuit. So the best thing, and hopefully the weather stays off for them this weekend.
Let's hope so. Right, so this week's show will be, we're all about the Puppy Cup, £10,000 at Romford on Friday night. We'll have a little bit of chat about the St Leger and the Birmingham Cup as well. If you want a full preview, which we did last week with replays and graphics and selections and all sorts, last week's show, episode 31, link will be in the description for last week's show. But we're going to cover all this week's action. There's a £3,000 match race at Romford on Friday night as well, closing the show there. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll have a little bit of chat, look at some prices, look at some replays for that as well. A little bit of innovation, something different, Tony, which is, I think, healthy for the game.
Yeah, I mean, match races, the last one they had at Romford was over the marathon distance, and it was a real thriller. Be interesting to see if this one pans out the same, because it is over the shorter distance.
Yeah, I think it was a thriller. Maybe the genuineness of some of those taking part, perhaps we shall say. I don't think we're going to see a tight one here. Who knows? We may well do, but it's only 400 metres. But we'll get onto all of that. What are your thoughts on match races? Who do you fancy in all of our big finals this week? Drop them in the comments below. Like and subscribe, of course, watching us here on the Racing Post YouTube channel. And we're going to start with the youngsters then. We're going to head to Romford. Now, last Friday, absolute carnage, nightmare, issue with the camera at the track. So we've actually only got one replay from the three semi-finals to bring you. The first semi-final was a thriller. I've seen it, but I've not got access to a replay, I'm afraid, that we can put up on the screen. But it was Fire and Ice that led in trap form, was picked up by Untold Rufia. The winner was in trap 1, runner-up in trap 4, 24-10. Have you seen the race, Tony?
Yeah, I was gobsmacked, to be truthful. I mean, I know Untold Rufia is a promising sort, but I thought Fire and Ice had cheated the draw. He managed to edge across, led out the second bend, and I was surprised he was collared, to be truthful. But he's made the final. That was his main objective. The draws worked out well. All credit to Untold Rufia, because had to even sort of check stride going into the third bend and still had momentum to land the spoils. But yeah, I'd have been a bit head scratching if I was connected with Fire and Ice, having been beaten off the front. But I think he can get it right on the night, hopefully.
Well, don't give the game away just yet, but as ever, you know, whether it be 400 metres or the 575 at Romford, the trap draw is absolutely crucial. We told you that at the start, and we'll see that in the final. But the anti-post favourite, beaten but qualified, Untold Rufia, back to winning ways. Now, we have got a replay of the second semi-final, so we'll show that for you now. The Hove Raider, Ginger's Prince, 23.89 in trap 4 here. New in Solely in trap 5. Finishing second. And coming into this competition, Tony, I thought Ginger's Prince looks a really, really nice type, but I always felt he might be a dog better over further, like a 480 or a 500, but he's doing it well.
Yeah, I think what you've just said there, he's going to be better over a true 4 bends. You can see that because he was really strong in the latter stages of this race. But take nothing away from New in Solely. I didn't think lost anything in defeat Kim Billingham's dog, but once Ginger's Prince did get to the front, he just broke the heart of New in Solely in the end. New in Solely tried to go toe-to-toe with Ginger's Prince, but as you see up the home straight, Ginger's Prince was absolutely full of running, and a good effort from Patrick Brown's Hove Raider.
Yeah, he looks a really, really nice type, Ginger's Prince. Right, unfortunately, no VT for the third semi-final. And then, as I mentioned, Rowanna Mamba for Michelle Brown, 24 dead in trap 5, beating Ritz to Rubble in trap 1 as a ground highlight. He's going to have a tricky draw in the final as well. They were the two that went through. What were your thoughts on this one if you've seen it, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, you can't knock this dog. I mean, Michelle Brown used to be based at Romford, so certainly knows what type of pup or dog to bring to the track, and he's going from strength to strength. I like the fact that he's improving on the clock. He's improving sectional wise as well. He found 6 spots to the winning line following the previous week's run. So yeah, he's showing the right attitude. He is one of those tailor-made types for a type 4 Benz, Dave.
Yes. Right, let's have a look at the race then itself. £10,000 up for grabs. It is the Coral Romford Puppy Cup, one of the biggest races of the year at the London Road circuit, and we'll have a look at the all-important draw as well. 11 minutes past 9 on Friday night. Remember, live on the Premier Greyhound Racing Service. Trap 1, the anti-post favourite, Fire and Ice at 6-4. Ginger's Prince goes in 2 at 11-2. Unsold Rufio 11-4. Ritz to Rubble 16s. New in Solely 7-1. One of 2 middles in Trap 5. And Rowanna Mamba drawn widest of all at 6-1. Now, Fire and Ice, I think, was no bigger than 5-2, 11-4 to win this event, and has got beat, and is still a 6-4 poke in the final. But I feel like that is because of the draw more than anything else, Tony.
Yeah, as soon as the draw come out, as much as I was disappointed that Fire and Ice failed to convert after leading, the draw gives him an edge. I mean, he's a dog that really wants to rouse, and the manner of his back-to-back wins prior to that defeat, the way he railed out that second bend, he took a length or 2 out of the opposition, Dave. And if that's on display in the final, I think he nicks this from the front. I think he gets to the front and don't get caught this time.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 votes for Fire and Ice. I think the draw's crucial here as well. Put up 2 grounds in the Racing Post price-wise. They've both got to the final, and I hate the draw for both of them. Untold Rufia, I think it'll pop up 6 or 7-1. As big as 11-4 in. This is a dog that beat the anti-post Jolly in the favourite in the semi-finals last week. And I put up Ritz to Rubble. I thought might go well if smashing out the boxes. Dog that's shown loads of pace. It was as big as 25-1, maybe 33s in a place. Anti-post, but has stranded out in Trap 4. But it will all rest on the start. Only 400 metres, bagging the lead at the opening turn. I think the dog with the draw, Barr in the favourite, obviously is the 5 dog here, Tony.
Yeah, he's the fly in the ointment, 5. I think at the prices, you could definitely have a saver on the 5, because I think 4 could edge across and 2 and 3 could come together. All of a sudden, if 5 turns in a handy position and 1 doesn't sustain the gallop, then at the prices, you could get a spot of value. What's remarkable about this year's final, though, Dave? 0 local representative in the final.
Yeah, well, of course, Dave Mullins, Romford trainers, have been farming the competition in recent years. But yeah, you're quite right. You know, the locals have been strong. Paul Young's been among the winners in recent years as well. Not a single locally trained dog lines up. And that is the feature race on Friday night at Romford. However, the talking point, as much as that final, is the finale as well. Closing the show at Romford on Friday night is a match race. Just the 2 dogs. Fair play to Pat Huckle and GB Skip Hire. Pat's a big owner at Nathan Hunt's, big owner at Romford and at Monmore. And he's done a 3-year sponsorship deal. You see branded all around the track. Fair play to him. To kick it off, something a little bit different. There's £3,000 that's gone up, an invitational match race. And Lynx Maverick, without ever having been at Romford before, will take on Not So Slow. He's quite aptly named. Absolutely took off at Toaster on Sunday. This is the race. It's the last race on the card at Romford, and only traps 2 and 4 will be filled here. What are your immediate thoughts, Tony? I think the prices went up. Lynx Maverick 4-5, Not So Slow 6-5. I think they were wider apart originally, but a little bit of support for the black jacket.
Yeah, I mean, I would have had I mean, Lynx Maverick would be massive odds on his best form. All right, he's not quite showing the form that's seen him captured like numerous bits of silverware, but I know lack of a look round would be a concern. But this is he's saved his best for the trial sessions of late. I mean, he broke 28 seconds at Perry Barr in a trial recently. Disappointed in the select, but this is a virtual trial for him. Track and trip should be tailor-made for him. I know Not So Slow's got sub 24 second times to his name, but if Lynx Maverick is anywhere near his best, I think he wins this match.
Well, let's have a look at him then. Now, surprisingly, I've had to go all the way back to April to find a win for Lynx Maverick. So this was at Perry Barr, 28.36, coming from off the speed in Trap 3 to beat Betty's Jack, who led round the outside in Trap 6. Now, He drops from 480 to the 400 here, Tony. We know he's a class act. He's won numerous big competitions and he's shared the track and beaten some of the very best four-bend dogs in the country. You know, if he leads, it will be lights out on Friday night. However, what I saw at Perry Barr during the Birmingham Cup was a bit of a worry to me. I think it was in the first round. It might have been the seventh. I think it was the first round. He smashed out the boxes and I thought Lynx Maverick is going to do some damage here. He's a class act and he didn't even make the bend. There was a dog up the inside, paced up. And that was a slight worry for me because I thought if this dog has just lost half a yard of early pace, you know, dropping down to 400 metres, which is really sporting of Tom Hilbron and the owners to come down. I know they've got Untold Rufia in that Puppy Cup final, but it's still, you know, Tom said to me, look, we've got a spare week. He's going to Sheffield for the Steel City Cup. It's still 400 metres under the lights against a dog that was doing a crazy time at Toaster on Sunday. And that just worried me a little bit. We saw from that VT, he's classy. He'd be strong over this 400. But if Not So Slow gets first run, he will have his hands full, won't he?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, if you look at Lynx Maverick's form, since his first round exit from the Derby, Dave, he's just not really shown a lot. But the fact that he's putting up the fast times in trials suggests that the speed is still there. And under this format, I just think we might just see a different Lynx Maverick. And I mean, I think Connections will learn a lot. I mean, if he disappoints in this particular match, then maybe they will sort of start having questions about Lynx Maverick. But yeah, I think he should be suited to the track. The lack of a look round doesn't bother me. And I think he'll have plenty of room. Nothing's capable of holding him up around the first two bends. He's 23, 70, 60 dog all day long on song at Romford. So if he's anywhere near his best, I think he's going to take a world of beating.
I was going to ask you to guess the winning time, so you've kind of answered that already. Let's have a look at the dog that he's taken on then, Not So Slow, as I mentioned, put up a crazy time at Toaster in the sprint on Sunday. We're going to go back to Yarmouth, though. This was on the 11th of September in the NWD Partnership Sprint Heat. And 16-17 here. Really nice performance from Not So Slow. And my understanding is they fancy this dog is a better version of himself than he was last time he was at Romford.
Yeah, I mean, he broke the 24-second barrier on a couple of occasions at Romford. So if they think that, then he certainly will be a handful. They dropped him down in distance, and as you say, he's not so slow for sure when he gets it right. I think he sort of took two or three sightings at Yarmouth to get used to the contours of Yarmouth, but he was really impressive at Toaster on Sunday. It wasn't the strongest of races. He was 5-1 on, but the winning time was there, 15:52, 5 fast going. So he heads into this match full of confidence.
And you are going for Lynx Maverick. Is that what you're telling me? How does he win, and what time does he post?
I think it's I think 23.80 wins the race. 23.80.90 will win the race. I couldn't play because of the way he's running Lynx Maverick. You couldn't be hand on heart and go, oh, he's an absolute good thing. The lids are open and he'll just blow them away. But I do think you wouldn't want to be laying 10 to 11 each or two, put it this way, because I think there'll be opposition against Lynx Maverick because of the way that he's running these last couple of races. But I don't know. There ain't enough juice in the price of Not So Slow.
Yeah.
Hence, it makes it a watching race.
I think it's fascinating. Just to be different, I mean, I love Lynx Maverick. I know he's definitely coming to the end of his career because for me, he's not the force of old, but he's still top class. Tom's a top trainer. And it does make it fascinating because, like you, I think if this dog was at his best, I wouldn't even care that he's not at a trial. I think he'd do 23.60 his very best. And I think he'd beat every dog in the country in a match. You know, the sharp four bends with nothing inside him, I think would be absolutely perfect for him. So it's going to be Not So Slow for me, just to get a smash break, maybe get across him at the turn and then make it interesting. But I like it. What are your thoughts on just, the odd match race here and there, Tony, is a talking point?
Well, I always thought they should have a series like at different venues, and they could probably do an aggregate distance because they could take turns in beating one another, like tot up the times, aggregate times. So if a dog's beaten, say like, for example, Lynx Maverick and Not So Slow met at a different venue, and Lynx Maverick won the Romford race by 2 lengths on Friday, then Not So Slow's got to go and win by 2 and a bit lengths when they met again. I think that's more interesting than the individual match. I think if you could have a series of match races, it'd make it even more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like the idea of, if you were to kind of mix it up a little bit, and one night you could maybe have 4, 5, 6, match races, competitive match races. This format works if it's competitive, like this one, like the one was over the 750 at Romford. If it's competitive, there can be talking points, cases made for each dog, and then offer up a coupon. If you get all 5 results or 6 results right, the bookmaker boosts your winnings, whatever. You can get creative with it. Do you want to be with the inside dogs, the outside dogs, the odds givers? There's a million and one different things that you could do to spice it up, rather than one dog's going to win, one dog's going to finish second, and that's it. It's a bit boring, because there's an argument that turnover will be down because there's no full cast, no tri-cast, there's 2 dogs rather than 6 dogs. But if you get creative and give it a chance, then maybe there's legs in every Friday night, the last race on the card. Someone come and sponsor the race and put something up, and it'd be interesting.
Yeah, well, they could have if they could get 8 match races, they could, like the snooker's got the snooker shootout. Why not a Greyhound shootout, a knockout format where they meet? I think it definitely add a different dimension and something that give a different interest, different element.
There you go. That is the match race. We'll talk about that. We can talk about that for hours, but we're not going to. Very interesting. Make sure you tune in live on Premier Greyhound Racing. The last race on Friday night at Romford. Right. So last Saturday was a washout. We told you that. Perry Barr, take 2. We will provide you with the link in the description below, and you can go and watch last week's episode. I'm assuming, Tony, opinion stays the same?
Does, yeah. Nothing's changed for me.
Yeah, so it'll be, I think you put up Rocca Bungle, didn't you, as the best bet last week. So you're obviously sweet on him, and we both fancy Droopy's Clue. So can Droopy's Clue do the business and become the first Greyhound ever in history to successfully defend the St. Leger? It's a competition that goes back, way back, I think to 1928, maybe, perhaps, really, really far back. Greyhound racing under rules in the UK only started in 1927. So a lot of history there could be made on Saturday night at Perry Barr. Now then, it is that time of the week. I've got the honour, because yours was a void race or a non-runner, if you like, Tony. Some Untold Rufia did the business for us. I think it was as big as 11-4. Untold Rufia last week. So I've got the honour, and I'm going to stick with Romford. I'm going to go early doors, 6:37. Cunningar Yusu is a ground I think is desperate for trap 1. Not that he'll dive inside, but I think he races better out the inside box. But I think he can take the rail away from the Roxy's dog in trap 1. And I think he might be a bit of a price. There's a couple of decent dogs around the outside that might make the market. He's not going to be too big a price, but I think he can get favourite backers off to a good start at Romford on Friday night. Classy Salt, stays the 400, very, very strong. Got a fast start in the locker, early pace to lead. So Cunningar Yusu is my best bet of the week. First race on the card on Friday night at Romford. Where are you off to, Tony? You can go anywhere you like this week. Where are we going?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Perry Barr. There's a bitches race, the 902. Matt Dartnell's Distant Cara in track 2. Should have the legs of Delicate Lass, who's on the immediate inside. She's shown some good quality form at Hove. Only lightly raced, 3 wins from 6 starts. She's moved really well in back-to-back trials over the 480 metres at Perry Barr. So she's very used to the track by now. I think she converts an early lead into a winning one. So Distant Cara for me, 902 at Perry Barr.
Yeah, very well regarded sort as well, Distant Cara, and she'd be coming up preparation, you'd assume, for the Oaks. But the Dartnell team do not travel to make up the numbers, so I'm with you as well. She's one I like on Saturday night at Perry Barr as well. So Distant Cara and Cunningar Yusu. Right, that wraps up the show. This was episode 32. Remember, you can watch all the action live on the Premier Greyhound Racing Service. Do remember to let us know who you fancy below as well, particularly the match race as well, because opinions are divided there. Like, comment and subscribe. Enjoy your racing.